Sunday, Richmond police reported 8 different shooting incidents. 2 of those were fatal, and about 10 different adults were injured. Now, that first shooting happened Friday just outside of Westover Hills Elementary, and we just learned the name of the woman who was shot here, who later died at a nearby hospital. Her name was Imani Hill. She was 26 years old.
"26-year-old Imani Hill, affectionately known as Mani to friends and family, was a loyal, supportive, giving, and amazing young woman. She was the type of friend you could count on, always just a phone call away. Most importantly, she was a loving and dedicated mother to her son, who, according to her, changed her for the best. He meant the world to her, and she did everything in her power to ensure he wanted for nothing. As she always did, Imani headed to her son's school to pick him up. As she waited in the school's pickup line, things quickly took a turn for the worst. Around 2:15 p.m. on October 14th, Richmond police responded to reports of 2 armed individuals in a shooting outside of Westover Hills Elementary School along the 1200 block of Yankee Road in South Richmond, Virginia. The incident occurred right before students were scheduled for dismissal. Upon arrival, they would find a hysterical crowd of both parents and staff, along with word of a woman being shot.
At a place where kids play and learn, things took a turn when tragedy struck early Friday afternoon. Just feet away from Westover Hills Elementary School, parents rolled up to pick up their kids to police tape lining the sidewalk and front lawn.
The victim was identified as 26-year-old Imani Hill, who was taken to a local hospital by a private vehicle. Despite life-saving measures, she would sadly succumb to her injuries, while the male individual survived. According to police sources, Imani got into an altercation outside of the school with several people, at which point an individual pulled out a gun and began shooting. A man was also hit in the head with a firearm during the altercation, and as a result, a juvenile male identified as a relative of Imani's has been charged with malicious wounding and possession of a firearm on school grounds. Those who knew Imani were confused, shocked, and left with many unanswered questions. What led up to the incident? How could someone who made it a point to avoid such conflict get caught up in a situation such as this? They just want answers and justice for their loved one.
The memories pouring in.
She always took pictures in mirrors. That's one thing about her. Mirrors, and that's her and Zai.
For those who knew Imani Hill,
she was always there, one phone call away.
Friends saying she was supportive and a loving mother to a young baby boy. But now
is a son without a mother.
Her life was cut short on Friday near Westover Hills Elementary School. Police say a fight broke out just after 2 o'clock. That's when someone shot a gun, striking Hill. She was rushed to the hospital, but died shortly after.
I really couldn't believe it. And I do like a typical thing a person would do. They would call them. So I called and the call didn't go through.
Tianche Norell, who's known Hill for years, says she was devastated by this news.
Hurt because, her out of all people, you would never imagine, her, because she wasn't that type of person.
Tonight, police are still investigating what led up to the deadly gunfire. It's unclear why that fight broke out, and police still haven't released any suspect information. This leaving friends like Norell and family with no answers.
I visit her mom and her son, and, they lost an amazing person.
Once the scene was secured and the lockdown lifted, the school held dismissal in the parking lot of the Family Dollar in the 1200 block of Westover Hills Boulevard, located behind the school. Students could be seen quickly boarding buses, clutching backpacks, and being escorted to parents and guardians. Although no students or staff were involved in the incident and the school was not deemed a target, the school did go on lockdown due to police activity in front of the building. The incident left many parents concerned for the well-being and safety of their children at a place they feel should be safe.
A nerve wreck right now.
One mom who asked to remain anonymous pulled up minutes after the incident happened, ready to pick up her son. She received an email from Richmond Public Schools stating all students and staff were safe. They were on a lockdown and in a holding pattern for dismissal.
They're about to come out of school. It's like, come on, we got to do better as, humans.
Once police secured the scene of the shooting, the school chose to change locations for dismissal. Parents were told to pick up their kids behind the school near the Family Dollar. Mom Iris Varela was emotional when she finally got to be reunited with her twins.
It was scary with everything going on. It was a relief knowing that, I got to see my kids walking out.
Her sons were supposed to walk home, but after this, it's now making her question if even having them walk outside of school is even a safe option.
It's sad. It's sad at the time that we're in. It's not safe. It's not safe anymore. Like, my kids don't go outside because of this.
As families grasp what happened this fall afternoon, they hope tragedies like these will not take place again at the place where their kids learn and play.
Richmond School Board member Jonathan Young, whose district includes Westover Hills, says students are now faced with dealing with the aftermath and encourages the school board and city officials to do more and hold themselves accountable. With all the recent violence in and near schools, we're taking a step backwards regarding gun violence and kids. The principal of Westover Hills Elementary did not hold back when speaking in front of the Richmond Public Schools Board. While she said the school community is not okay after the violence that took place, there is concern about the lack of mental health support to help both staff and students cope.
Allison El-Kubi stands before the Richmond School Board Monday night.
There was a shooting at my school, literally on the front doorstep.
Decrying the gun violence at her school on Friday when a teenager shot and killed a woman in the school's drop-off line an hour before dismissal. El-Kubi recalls it as a time of tremendous fear and stress with long-term impacts to the Westover Hills community.
An experience like Friday's is traumatic for everyone involved, our staff, our students, our parents and caregivers and their families, and it will be a while before we are emotionally okay.
The principal then charged the school board to take action to help prevent gun violence and increase trauma support in the aftermath of tragedy.
The numbers are appalling and they are astounding, and it is overwhelming.
In this current school year, RPS has already initiated a crisis response to gun violence and youth shootings 7 times. Last school year, there were 42 school-level responses to gun violence. Angela Jones, who coordinates the district's mental and emotional resources for these types of incidents, says the need is significant.
As I'm standing in the front of Westover Hills this morning, I had barely said goodbye to Mr. Young or to Mr. Cameras, and I was getting an alert of another child shot this morning.
But she lacks help.
It's not enough. It is not enough.
Earlier this year, the school board rejected filling an already budgeted position in the superintendent's cabinet for a chief wellness officer who would lead and oversee division-level mental health support. El-Kubi renewed calls for them to make that a priority and accused the board of working against Superintendent Jason Cameras.
But what we have here is a dysfunctional board, and it appears to be set up to be adversarial, which means that it is very hard to get things done.
In response, board chair Dr. Shonda Harris Muhammad disagreed, emailing the principal that she should, quote, ask sincere questions and obtain facts before making such a statement.
A motive into the incident is still unclear, and anyone with information regarding the case is encouraged to come forward. The investigation remains ongoing.